Welcome to Wawasan Wire. Today we'll talk about a recent incident that's really highlighted this very delicate balance, and it's sparked a huge national conversation about patriotism, the rule of law, and, well, unity.
It certainly has. It's a conversation that really blew up after what happened with a hardware store owner up in Kepala Batas. He briefly displayed the Malaysian flag the wrong way while he was just measuring a pole. Now, the important part is he realized it super quickly, fixed it right away, and gave a very sincere apology. But even with that quick fix and apology, the police later arrested him. And they mentioned looking into prosecution under, well, quite a few laws. There's the Emblems and Names Act from 1963, specifically about misusing symbols. Then the Minor Offenses Act, 1955, which is broader public order stuff. And interestingly, even the Communications and Multimedia Act, 1998, which suggests, even how people talked about it online could be under scrutiny.
Wow. Okay, let's unpack that a bit. So, a genuine mistake, it seems, fixed immediately. But the reaction, that's where it gets really interesting. Because it was anything but simple, right?
Not at all. It escalated incredibly fast. And a lot of that momentum came from United Malay's national organization youth wing leader Akmal. His stance was extremely strong. He condemned it fiercely, called it a direct insult to national dignity, nothing less. What really got everyone talking, though, was his initial plan. He announced he would personally go and, quote, teach the store owner the correct way. He even called for a public gathering there, urged people to lodge police reports en masse, and pushed for a boycott of the store.
Wait, he actually used the word teach in that context? That sounds intense.
Yes, that was the word used. Now, he did postpone that specific action after the owner was arrested. But, and this is key, he made it clear it was only deferred, not canceled. He said he'd still do it if similar things happened elsewhere. And on top of that, he publicly called for the prosecutor to use the most severe articles of the law against the owner. He wanted the court to impose heavy sentences to serve as a really strong warning, against anyone else thinking of, quote, insulting national sovereignty.
So painting it not as just an error, but as something needing the maximum possible punishment. It really makes you think, if this is the reaction to what seems like a mistake, what's the underlying feeling in society right now? That kind of response is bound to get pushback, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Akmal's very aggressive approach immediately sparked a strong counter-narrative. Many prominent people stepped up, really emphasizing the need for proper legal processes and condemning any kind of, well, mob-like public intervention. For instance, Democratic Action Party youth wing leader Wu Jialiang was very direct. He didn't mince words. He called Akmal's proposed actions mob enforcement and intimidation, said it completely disregarded legal principles. And he also accused Akmal of hypocrisy and double standards.
Hypocrisy. How so?
Well, Wu pointed out that Akmal hadn't said anything when, in the past, actual government bodies like the Ministry of Education or even the Terengganu Islamic Party had displayed incorrect flags. His point was, patriotism should be encouraged through ongoing education, through understanding, not through threats or what he called street justice.
Right, that contrast is stark. Punishment versus education. And this feeling about double standards, it seems like others picked up on that too.
Yes, it became a running theme. Garrikin, Selangor chairman Zhang Jianfeng also hit out at what he saw as double standards from the unity government itself. He used this phrase, gentle as a rabbit towards officials, but fierce as a tiger towards common citizens. Zhang specifically mentioned the lack of any real consequences for Ministry of Education officials after that pretty serious flag error on SPM certificates a while back. He contrasted that sharply with the swift, harsh action against the small business owner. And he also questioned why the Democratic Action Party seemed quiet on this perceived unfairness.
Interesting point, questioning parties within the coalition itself.
Exactly. And others echoed the need for proper channels. Malaysian Chinese Association, Chen Dekin, stressed that police should handle these cases, period. He strongly argued against any kind of private punishment or mob justice, warned it could undermine the rule of law, and potentially stir up racial misunderstanding. He also made sure to note the owner's quick correction and apology, as a relevant context. Then you had Andy Che, the Democratic Alliance Party Penang chairman. He acknowledged, okay, it was a mistake, it needed fixing, but he pleaded for it not to be over-processed, just to create division or sling baseless accusations around. He called for rational correction, not provocation. Even the Democratic Action Party Secretary General Anthony Loke Sufuk weighed in. He reaffirmed, look, flag incidents go to the police, follow the rule of law. Simple as that. He explicitly rejected what he called bullying tactics, like protests or these teaching sessions at people's premises. And he added that patriotism shows up in many ways. It shouldn't be judged just by one single action.
Okay, so a clear consensus from that side seems to be Let the law handle it, calm down, don't escalate. But this whole thing, starting from such a small incident, really forces us to ask a bigger question, doesn't it? What actually is patriotism in Malaysia? Is it just about following rules for symbols perfectly, or is it something, deeper, something that actually builds the nation?
That really gets to the heart of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Moving beyond the specific case to the philosophy behind it all, former ministers Zai Ibrahim, who handled legal affairs, offered a pretty critical view. He said that in Malaysia, mistakes with the flag are often treated almost like serious crimes. He felt this reflects a kind of maybe superficial patriotism and an overly sensitive political climate. He pointed out that in many other countries, this kind of thing is usually just seen as human error and oversight. Zaid actually criticized politicians for using flags as political weapons. He argued that real national strength isn't about freaking out over a piece of cloth. It's about defending the principles the flag stands for, like justice, unity, equality.
That's a powerful point. Focusing on the values, not just the object. It shifts the perspective entirely.
It really does. And Ted Chiang Kang, a former Democratic Action Party Central Committee member, pushed this further. He flat out stated that just displaying a flag isn't the only way to be patriotic. It's not the ultimate test. In fact, he argued, maybe controversially, that the truly unpatriotic people are those who just can't accept Malaysia's reality, its multicultural, multi-religious, multilinguistic nature. He also kind of challenged the idea that everyone should just know the flag perfectly after 60-odd years of independence. He made a sort of sideways point, noting that many who've received special privileges for decades still struggle with self-reliance, implying maybe active contribution matters more than symbolic perfection.
That's quite a provocative take on it, connecting patriotism to acceptance of diversity and self-reliance.
It is. And then there's this very personal, very revealing take from the YouTube content creator, Prof. Tajuddin. He actually expressed having a deep fear, his word, about displaying the flag himself. Why? Because he's seen how innocent mistakes get turned into political attacks, accusations of disloyalty. He observed what he saw as a clear double standard, where some politicians jump much harder on mistakes made by people from other communities compared to their own. Prof. Tajuddin argued really strongly that true Malaysian dignity doesn't just hang on a flag. He believes it's found in the unity of all our diverse people working together, for shared goals like harmony, good economy, safety for our kids. He called the whole politicization of these flag incidents false patriotism, said it just drives people apart, doesn't unite anyone.
Wow. That idea of fear around displaying the flag is pretty telling, isn't it? It really feels like this incident is being used, maybe intentionally, to divide us, not bring us together. So where does that leave ordinary Malaysians? Stuck in the middle of all this political noise, and what role should our leaders be playing to actually genuinely foster unity when things get this tense?
Well, the politicization definitely worried a lot of people, and in some corners, it led to, doubling down. The Para-Islamic Party Youth Wing, for example, they announced they're setting up Love Malaysia Scout Team, their mission, to actively monitor any flag insults and take legal action. So another potentially escalatory move. But on the flip side, you also had leaders trying to lower the temperature. Deputy Finance Minister Lim Hu Ying encouraged people to fly the flag for National Day, sure, but she also specifically advised being careful to avoid mistakes. She acknowledged people were concerned. And Communications Deputy Minister Tay Ching really stressed that the whole National Day month should be about promoting unity, not about political squabbling.
Okay, so there are calls for calm coming from within the government, too, a recognition that this isn't helping anyone.
Definitely. And there's been a growing sense that this needs intervention from the very top. Lee Chan Shung, the People's Justice Party MP for peddling Jaya, he actually urged the United Malays National Organization Chairman Ahmad Zahid and DAP Secretary General Anthony Loke to meet urgently. His reason to de-escalate this escalating flag controversy before it spirals further.
So pushing for the top leadership within the coalition to step in directly.
Exactly. I think this whole episode really forces all of us to look inwards and ask, what kind of patriotism do we want? Is it genuinely about building a harmonious, just society where everyone feels they belong?
Right.
Or is it becoming something more performative, something easily twisted and used for political games? It really boils down to what we value more, sticking rigidly to symbolic rules or protecting the dignity, the well-being, and the actual unity of our diverse communities.
That's a really powerful thought to leave you all with, something to definitely mull over, especially as we approach National Day. We hope this discussion has helped give you a clearer picture of all the different angles in this complex conversation. We always appreciate hearing your thoughts on these important issues. Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.